There's been an awful lot of hype over the last few weeks, naturally, about some of the big features coming to FM26, whether it be the new user interface, the new graphics for the match engine, or of course things like the new tactics in and out of possession and the big recruitment screen. But there's one particular feature that I feel, maybe as an experienced player, is not going to be the most spectacular for me, but that has massively gone under the radar for the future of Football Manager and the importance it's going to have for developing and growing the series in the future. So today, we're going to have another of our little fireside chats about a new FM feature, and this time, we're of course talking about FMPedia, essentially Football Manager's Wikipedia. We're going to talk about the feature, why I feel it's so important for the new game, all of the pros that come with it, and of course a few of the potential concerns and worries as well. Again, as I've mentioned in the previous ones we've done on tactics and we've done on recruitment, this is just my opinion, and to an extent is tailored to the way I play the game, although I have tried with this one in particular to think outside the box. So come and give us your opinion as well, but be respectful. It's all right to disagree. It doesn't matter. Although it may not be the most important feature for me in Football Manager, I feel like this could be one of the best ones for many years in the game. Very quickly, before we move on to the several reasons why, there is one day to go before the FM26 beta is released. If you haven't yet got it, you can pre-order via my Fanatical link for 22% off. It's up in the eye above and description below. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as me, because from tomorrow, daily episodes from our Builder Nation every weekday here and over on Twitch will be live for a first look on Thursday before our Bedford Town career starts on Friday and carries on every single day. So come and stick with us for them. Follow us on both if you haven't already. But for now, let's go and get over to the pros and why I think FMPedia is such a crucial addition to Football Manager 26. So let's start with what I see as the many pros for this feature, because something that I've often criticised from a Football Manager point of view, and I'm not meaning that I'm talking about the game being poor or anything like that, but one of the biggest things I've talked about for growing Football Manager in the future is the lack of, or the quality of, the tutorials in the game at different times, and the lack of information to help with a game that's become increasingly complex over years. Let's be honest, even a lot of regular players now quite often talk about, can't we just go back to simpler times? Or I need the vibe of FM Classic. That used to be the perfect balance for me. I can't do 2, 3, 4 hours in a pre-season. It can't take me 3 or 4 days to do a season. I just haven't got that time. And FMPedia may help with that to an extent, in combination with the new user interface, of course, which I've several times said is my favourite feature for the new game. But let's talk a little bit about what it is first for a few of you that may not be aware. FMPedia is basically a Wikipedia tool within FM which gives full information on the game, on certain areas of it. So you can look from within the search tool directly for general features within the game. So certain categories that you will have seen on the 1 or 2 screenshots we've had: squad, club, staff, training, recruitment, match, all the usual things. But also then within them, there are several specific guides looking at certain areas, and that may have massive tangible benefits for both moderately experienced players and certainly for new people coming to the FM series, which, let's be honest, with the sort of edge towards this new user interface that's more console friendly, that also allows you to play between the 2 devices, PC and console, easily, I think it's pretty clear what they're going for, which, as we've mentioned before, is to take some of that sort of FIFA Manager career mode, or EAFC as it is now, and take them and get them playing FM instead. But to do that, you've got to make the game a lot simpler for new people, and this might well just have the power to do it. I'm a little bit surprised it's not had more coverage, more hype, more publicity. I've seen 1 or 2 articles on it perhaps, and then it got about a 90-second mention early on in the FM stream on Monday. But let's talk a little bit about what it can do, because the key benefits to it for me are the tutorials and guides for new players. One of the criticisms, as I mentioned, I've had for years is Football Manager is an unbelievable game, but if you weren't playing it from sort of the early era onwards, if you came in at any point in the last 10 years, it's very hard to pick up. There's so much detail. There's so many things that, yes, you can choose to delegate, and that's absolutely fine, but it is very hard to wrap your brain around the whole game. And I think most of us, even seasoned players, pick and choose the areas we're going to manage, and then delegate the rest, which you could argue is realism because a lot of managers won't be managing every training session, won't be managing every area of recruitment, etc., etc. But for those who really want that full experience, it is very hard to understand all of the features available within each screen. And there are so many different guides and tutorials that are publicly made out there, but within FM itself, there's not really that ultimate go-to. And while there has been a manual, while there have been little links and help buttons before, I feel this is a really big redesign. And the amount of detail you can go into from just a general look at individual tiles. So you can get a little pop-up to show you what the squad screen does, little areas you might be able to look at. But then underneath that, where you've got your references and links, and there's another sort of 10 or 15 going into detail about player positions, player happiness, squad planner, things like that. Another feature that's been massively underused for years, the squad planner since coming in. So I think all of those areas might help at Sports Interactive by actually getting FM players to use newer features that by habit they naturally wouldn't. We saw it even in the sort of FM stream on Monday where Miles Jacobson was sitting there essentially telling the presenter off because he was just trying to click through the tutorials instead of actually reading and having a look, which is something that with the new look to the game this year, a lot of people are going to have to do. So it's a massive, massive incentive to try and attract new players to the game. As we've discussed in every one of these feature fireside chats, if you can get more people playing Football Manager and more people buying it regularly, more people playing it for hours, you're going to get a better game in the future with more sponsorships, with more income, with more commercial viability. And those things are all good for all of us who play FM regularly. The other thing that I really like about it though, and it's not just the FM side when it comes to tutorials, are the pages where it actually helps with football knowledge, because FMPedia actually has some things that are related to football itself, brushing up on rules and competitions and those sorts of things. And that's another area where, again, for FM, it's very difficult for new players. And if I give a direct comparison, and I know they're very different games, but if we go back to, say, an EAFC or previously Pro Evolution Soccer, if you were a relatively casual football fan or knew next to nothing, you could pick up one of those games and within 10 minutes, you could probably start a manager career mode and get on with it pretty well. In FM, that just isn't possible. There are so many areas where if you don't have an intense knowledge of how the football club runs on a daily basis or what's going on, very hard to get your teeth sunk into. And it's something that probably I found in later series of the F1 Manager game after the tutorials crept out. And we've seen it with other games before that have never been able to replicate it. So again, for people who are new to FM, the tutorials in FMpedia will be great. But actually some of the football knowledge stuff could be great to people who are casual football fans, but may absolutely love the gaming side of it. And I think that's something that's absolutely crucial too, because look, yes, I'm a bit of a unique channel. I love watching any football at every level, and I'll go to non-league games every week and whatever else. But there are plenty of people who just watch big Premier League games or big international tournaments and don't really get involved other than that. So in those instances, this could be a massive feature because it allows people to have a bit more of an understanding of the football side as well as the running it within FM. And that for me is such a simple introduction, but to have that on your fingertips without having to go out to manuals, to web pages, to guides, to have it as a literal clickable tile or a searchable option within your FM career, to be able to then click 2 buttons and get back to doing it on the FM save that you're managing yourself is a massive, massive positive progression for the Football Manager series, and for me will be absolutely enormous in helping grow the game in the future. I think it's a really good move. It's something that's long overdue, but I actually think the power it has, while maybe for me as a really regular player and a fanatical football fan, maybe doesn't have the biggest impact on my save career. Might learn the odd little thing, but it's not going to teach me too much. For new players and for people who aren't massive football fans, I think it's going to make a huge impact, and I'm really excited for that for the future of Football Manager. Let's move on to some of the other things in it as well, because one of the things I'm most excited about is the user interface. And I love the way that this search function integrates and FMpedia does, because we've seen it in a few of the sort of live streams and alpha videos and that. When you're searching for anything in the toolbar, you're not just getting your player search now, which let's be honest is when we would normally look to look up a player name, a team name, whatever. But to do that now, you're getting your team names, you're getting your player names, you're getting those related things that you would before. But you're also getting these related FMPedia articles, which, particularly with so many big new features this year in tactics, recruitment, etc., it's going to make a good impact too. I love the way that it's clickable within the game. I do really like the new tile system, and I know there's a lot of people who don't like change, but I think it's going to make a big impact on the game series too. But I love the fact that you can just click in it within 1 or 2 buttons rather than going out to an almost separate manual or having to go to guides, forums, YouTube videos or whatever to find it. To have it all seamlessly integrated within FM, I think it's absolutely fantastic. So overall, I think there are so many positives, primarily to help attract new people to the game and to help attract casual football fans to think this is a game actually I can play. I can pick up the knowledge I need within the game to be able to be successful at it. So plenty of positives for sure, but as always with these fireside chats, we do like to try and be realistic. We do like to try and cover some of the potential worries or concerns as well. And there aren't many with this, but we do have to discuss them regardless, because one of the things we've always talked about in FM, and particularly in the last couple of years, particularly when we've been managing in England, for example, is the easiness or the difficulty of the game. Now, my question is, because I try and make it harder for myself, not using the player search screen, some of the save styles we do, etc., not using the overpowered tactics. But if everyone can set up the game, load up, and start reading these articles, and it's telling you, this is what this screen does, this is how to use it, and this is how to use it effectively, you would imagine that's what the guide's going to be telling you. Are we then going to create a generation where everyone is too good at the game? Because I was already on the fence for FM24 being a little bit too easy, which is possibly why it was so popular, because it did offer that you could be successful quite simply. And while it is a small concern to have, and obviously you can make things harder for yourself too, it is a worry for me that potentially with so much information available at your fingertips on how to use every feature well, maybe there won't be much left to intuition. There won't be much learning. There won't be much to get your teeth sunk into having not seen before. I think for this year it'll be fine because there are so many other big new features. But I do worry that potentially we might just see too many people being able to be too good at the game. And does that then mean we need adjustments in difficulty, etc.? But the primary concern really is, has it been plugged enough? As I mentioned, I've seen 1 or 2 articles about it from reputable FM sources. I saw it got a brief mention in the Monday live stream, the first look live stream from Football Manager. But I would have thought when you're marketing such a new game to people and wanting to get so many new players in from different game worlds, that surely you would be plugging this intuitive feature that's so easily clickable within the game that can give you all the knowledge you need very quickly. And while, yes, there is always that risk of people's concentration spans now, will they read them? Will they go through and read guide after guide? To have that option there is a massively powerful tool. It is essentially Wikipedia in FM. Why isn't it being plugged more? It's the only thing I don't understand, because I know it's not going to be that exciting a feature for regular players, which myself and probably most of my followers are. But for people who don't play the game regularly, which we need to attract more of to Football Manager if the game's going to keep growing and growing, surely you want to be plugging that outside to external sources. And it feels weird for me that certainly when they've had the sort of journalist articles, when they've had the alpha videos and things that are going to be seen by hundreds of thousands of people, that this hasn't been pushed more and more to try and attract new people to the game. So while it's not really a concern of the feature itself, it's a concern that the feature maybe hasn't been marketed enough or in the right places to help have the effect on the groups of people that it should be trying to target. And I guess if that's my only concern about a feature, it's possibly not that bad a thing. I know some regulars will probably be too stubborn to read them. We've seen that with the tutorials before that are also separate within the game. We saw that even in the first look stream where Miles Jacobson was sitting there, and we've seen it with a few of the other big streamers since as well. However, I do think FMPedia is, while not one of the most exciting new features in recent years, certainly for people like us who play it on every release, I do think in terms of its impact for power for the future of the FM series, it could be one of the biggest things we've ever seen if it's marketed right and targets the right people and helps attract new players to the game that otherwise would have maybe felt that setting up, getting used to and being successful in FM was previously inaccessible. So let me know what you think. A little shorter fireside chat than normal, but I felt like I had to cover this one partly because it hadn't been mentioned an awful lot, and I feel that it hadn't been done justice. But also, I do feel that it's going to be a really important tool, even if maybe not for me and my audience so much. I do feel it's got the potential to be one of the most important additions to the Football Manager series. And I wonder if you guys agree or disagree. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're a regular player and I've maybe missed something that you'll use regularly from within it, let me know down in the comments below too. If you enjoyed this little fireside chat, do chuck a thumbs up on it. Check out the other ones up in the eye above if you haven't before, as well as our whole playlist of save ideas if you need some inspiration for an FM26 challenge. If you want to stay up to date with everything from the new game, including our long-term Builder Nation story from Real 1879 tomorrow, that is here on YouTube. And of course, we'll be live on Twitch with Bedford Town every day from Friday after our first look stream tomorrow. Subscribe, turn that notification bell on, follow us on Twitch, all of that good stuff. If you want to see all of my other FM26 plans, it is up in the eye above there. We made that video last week. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone that's pre-ordered the game via my Fanatical link. And if you haven't done so already, that will give you 22% off Steam's price. Link in the description and eye above. And I'll see you back here tomorrow where it all begins after that 2-year wait. We're ready to go. FM26 is almost here. And I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to get my teeth sunk into it.